I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast.
Okay, so I want to continue the discussion on nap time routines and creating a safe and sane nap time routine so that you can get some rest and your child can get some rest too. And yesterday we talked about setting the time to be a specific time. For me, it was 12 to 2. Maybe you want it from 1 to 2. Invite your child, if he or she's old enough, to have input as to what the time is for the nap time. And then begin to follow the guidelines that we talked about yesterday for establishing the nap time. And then planning ahead to prevent problems in the future. Once you establish this routine, really intend to stick with it for at least 3 or 4 weeks. That's often how long it takes to establish a new routine. Quiet time can be very flexible in the future, but in order to get a sane quiet time routine going, you really need to stick to a pretty rigid schedule. And if you're finding you're not getting too much success, ask your child what they need. Maybe they'd like you to read a story for 5 minutes before or play a game for 15 minutes. So see if there's something your child needs to transition into the quiet time that will help them be more willing to cooperate. Children also enjoy the routines and love helping set them up. So asking questions and using limited choices to find out what your child thinks will make the quiet time work better. So if it's not working out, say things like, well, what would work better for you if we had 5 minutes of play before, or when you wake up that we sit down and read quietly together? And see if you can lead them into some suggestions that they think will work for them. Also, when you're planning a quiet time routine, make sure it follows quiet activities instead of being scheduled right after with things that are stimulating. So that is that you don't want to be playing at the park and going crazy and then all of a sudden say, okay, nap time, if they're still stimulated. Now, some children will be tired after playing at the park, but not all of them. And another thing is to try to make it a different routine from the bedtime routine. You may have established already a bedtime routine that has certain rituals, and if you make the nap time routine or the quiet time routine different, like maybe there's a different stuffed animal that they cuddle with, maybe there's a different bed that they go sleep in. One suggestion was that the one little boy had where he got to go and take his nap time in his big brother's room because his big brother was away at high school. And that made it really a fun, different ritual for him to have his quiet time in his brother's room. So different bed, different blanket, special sleeping bag, different room, something that establishes this quiet time as a unique part of the day that's not the same as anything else. And children can learn that if they're resistant to this, they'll still be treated with dignity and respect. So when you're dealing with the nap time or quiet time routine, that sometimes they have choices and sometimes they have to follow the routine, but you're going to be kind and firm to them throughout the whole thing. Also, remember, not all children need the same amount of sleep. There's some kids that absolutely 100% have to have that nap, or they are just meltdown material all afternoon and evening. And other kids can kind of get by without the nap and just going to bed at 6:30 or 7. So every child's different, and make sure that you're very sensitive to the needs of each individual child. Also, it doesn't hurt kids to demonstrate their frustration by crying. It's damaging to their self-esteem for a child not to develop the beliefs that I'm not capable to handle disappointment. So they need to learn, I have to follow limits and I don't have to manipulate others to get my own way. All of those are things that can happen when they get served or they get a goodie for that misbehavior. So if you just let them have their little fits and their little tantrums and just say, honey, I know you're frustrated and I can see you're really upset and you look really discouraged and I love you and I know you're going to figure out how to take care of yourself and do this quiet time, you'll find a lot more success. So I hope these 2 days have helped and that you can establish a great quiet time routine in your family. Have a great day. Happy parenting.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Debbie Godfrey, owner and founder of positiveparenting.com. I hope you'll go and check out my website and follow me on Instagram and let me know about what you thought about today's episode. Did you learn something new? Were you able to do something different with your children? Did you have a success story? Those are my favorite to share. Let me know. Contact me. I'd love to hear from you. And also, what future topics would you be interested in hearing about on the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast? Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support. Take care and happy parenting.